Episode 5. Soon, Scarface's cry could be heard, and his body curled as he flew backward, slamming into the SUV with a sickening thud. Blood spewed from his mouth as he struggled to move. He looked up at Kingsley in terror, stuttering, "Why you?" Kingsley ignored him, turning back to Lauren as if nothing had happened. "Let's go, Ms. Rhodes." Lauren's eyes were still wide with shock. Kingsley, who had seemed so gentle and refined, turned out to be incredibly fierce in a fight. She thought someone like him was highly unlikely to be just a boy toy. With his medical skills and fighting prowess, he was more like a hidden gem. Lauren felt a rush of excitement at the thought that she had stumbled upon a real gem. She smiled seductively as she started the car and drove towards South City. "Dr. Baldwin, first you saved Cece, and now you've saved me." "I don't know how to thank you enough," Lauren said with a smile as she drove, her interest in Kingsley growing by the minute. Kingsley replied politely, "I really didn't do much. But Ms. Rhodes, you should be careful. These men might be connected to the ones who poisoned Cece earlier." Lauren's expression hardened. "I have a pretty good idea who's behind this. They'll learn that the Rhodes family isn't to be trifled with, and I'll make sure they pay for this tenfold." From the back seat, Cecilia chimed in sweetly, "Lauren, Dr. Baldwin has helped us so many times. Shouldn't we give him some kind of reward?" Lauren nodded in agreement. "You're right. We should definitely thank Dr. Baldwin properly." Cecilia's eyes twinkled mischievously. "Lauren, I have a suggestion." "What's that?" "Well, since he didn't want our family's black gold card, why don't you reward him? Personally?" "Oh, you little brat. What are you saying? I ought to wash your mouth out with soap." Kingsley felt uncomfortable listening to the sisters' banter. Lauren's face flushed, but she maintained her composure as she turned to Kingsley. "Dr. Baldwin, please don't mind my sister. She doesn't think before she speaks sometimes." Kingsley smiled awkwardly, trying to show understanding. "However," Lauren suddenly added, "though I wouldn't mind what Cece suggested if that's what you want." Kingsley was at a loss for words. Undeniably, Lauren was an incredibly alluring woman. Born into a prestigious family, she carried herself with grace and had a face that could launch 1,000 ships. Moreover, her figure was really curvaceous. Unlike Hannah's cold, unapproachable beauty, Lauren was the other extreme, passionate and fiery, with full lips and curves that could make a man weak at the knees. Kingsley had seen his fair share of beautiful women, but Lauren's charm was almost overwhelming. Catching a glimpse of Kingsley's slightly embarrassed expression in the rearview mirror, Lauren giggled. She had not expected Kingsley to be someone who would actually feel shy, and she was amused. Countless men of all types had pursued her, but Lauren had never met someone quite as intriguing as Kingsley. Maybe she thought it was worth giving him a try. South City Orphanage was located on the southern outskirts of Jarrodale, on a sizable piece of undeveloped land. Jarrodale's business community had long coveted this prime real estate. The fundraising gala that night was organized to facilitate the orphanage's relocation, attracting Jarrodale's most influential families and business groups. As night fell and the lights came on, South City Orphanage's courtyard was transformed. A red carpet welcomed Jarrodale's elite, who arrived with their glamorous dates for an evening of socializing. "Ms. Rhodes, welcome." The orphanage director personally greeted Lauren. However, as he adjusted his reading glasses, his eyes lit up at the sight of her companion. "Dr. Baldwin, you're here too? Oh my, the children and I have been eagerly waiting for you." A group of orphans excitedly swarmed around Kingsley, repeatedly calling, "Andy." Lauren was surprised to see Kingsley chatting with the director, realizing that this humble doctor's popularity overshadowed her status as the Rhodes Corporation heiress. Soon, a few VIP guests approached to greet Lauren. She smiled, thinking she had finally regained some of the spotlight. "Dr. Baldwin, let me introduce you to some CEOs," Lauren said, ready to show off her connections. To her astonishment, the guests recognized Kingsley before she could make introductions. "Oh, isn't this Dr. Baldwin from Jarrodale General Hospital? Hello. I'm James Campbell. It's thanks to your miraculous treatment that I can walk again." "Dr. Baldwin, what an honor to meet you again. Remember me?" I had problems with my pregnancy. Thanks to you, we now have a 1-year-old. Our family line is secured. Hey, Dr. Baldwin. I owe you a drink tonight. If it weren't for you, I would have been out of the game at 60. Now I'm still going strong. Lauren was dumbfounded. She watched as these VIPs eagerly approached Kingsley, showering him with warm greetings. This guy's connections were clearly extraordinary, far beyond what one would expect from a simple doctor. After finally bidding farewell to the guests, Kingsley turned to Lauren with an apologetic shrug. Sorry about that, Ms. Rhodes. They were all former patients of mine. To be honest, I can barely remember them. Lauren smirked. Dr. Baldwin, you're quite the dark horse, aren't you? Little did she know, Kingsley truly could not recall these Jarrodale bigwigs despite their status. Just then, Lauren's phone rang. After answering, she turned to Kingsley and said, Dr. Baldwin, feel free to look around. I need to take care of something.
See you in a bit. Kingsley nodded.
Of course, Ms. Rhodes. Don't let me keep you. There was still some time before the fundraiser officially began. More influential figures, all eyeing the orphanage's valuable property, continued to arrive. Before long, the parking lot was already filled with luxury cars. A sleek black Rolls-Royce pulled up, drawing everyone's attention. As the door opened, a stunning woman in a pure white cocktail dress stepped out, her legs as fair as snow. Her appearance drew gasps of admiration from the crowd. What a beauty! Her grace is truly unparalleled. I'd risk jail time just for a moment with a woman like that. That's the famous CEO of Sneeze Corporation. Not only is she gorgeous, but her business insight is extraordinary. She'll probably snag this prime real estate tonight. Another luxury car pulled up behind the Rolls-Royce. Sean eagerly jumped out and approached the center of attention, Hannah. Hannah, you really know how to make an entrance. I bet you'd be a top celebrity even if you weren't the CEO of Sneeze Corporation. Sean's eyes could not hide his admiration as he gazed at the radiant Hannah. Hannah, however, seemed uncomfortable with his closeness. Let's focus on business. And I think it's best we maintain some distance in public. Sean brushed off her concern. What's there to worry about? Everyone knows how I feel about you, Hannah. Besides, you're single now. You kicked that loser to the curb, so no one can say anything. Irene chimed in, supporting Sean. That's right, Hannah. Kingsley's out of the picture now. Plus, Sean's our ally. We'll need his support for Sneeze Corporation tonight. From a distance, Kingsley watched Hannah and Sean chatting and laughing, surrounded by other guests. He had not expected to run into the woman who had almost become his wife in such a place. He turned away, intending to leave. However, Hannah spotted him and called out, Kingsley, is that you? Wait right there. The click of high heels echoed as Hannah approached, uncertainty in her steps. Kingsley cursed his luck silently before turning to face her with a cold expression. What can I do for you, Miss Sneeze? Hannah's smile faltered. Kingsley, it really is you. Are you still angry with me? Kingsley took a deep breath, quickly suppressing his emotions. You must be joking, Miss Sneeze. A nobody like me has no right to be angry. If there's nothing else, I'll leave you in peace. Wait, don't go. Hannah stepped forward, her tones serious. Even though our relationship is over, I've always thought you were a good person, Kingsley. So please, listen to me one last time. Why don't you turn yourself in? Kingsley let out a cold laugh, amused by how Hannah was still as clueless as ever. Even until then, she was unaware of the true situation. Why don't you call the police right now and have them arrest me, Miss Sneeze? Hannah was taken aback, then her face flushed with anger. Kingsley, why are you being so stubborn? Even if I wronged you, that's no excuse to break the law. Listen to me. Return the King of Diamonds and face the consequences of your actions. Irene and Sean approached, their faces unfriendly. Hannah, why are you even bothering with him? Sean sneered as he turned to Kingsley. A shameless thief daring to show up at a high-class event like this. Where do you get the nerve? Irene chimed in, her voice dripping with sarcasm.
Full story is available at novelpalace.com. Click the link in the comment section to get it free.